The money, the budgets, the programs and the beneficiaries, the success and failures, the public outcry and public accountability. This is an in-depth story. President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni in August 2019 launched the Presidential Initiative on Wealth and Job Creation (EMYOOGA) as part of government's continued strategies to transform 68% of Ugandan homesteads from subsistence to market-oriented production and socio-economic transformation, call it poverty alleviation. President Museveni has always emphasized this need.
Is the need for wealth creation in the home. I don't know why people don't understand this. If you solve the issue of poverty in the home state, you do something very good, but also you will preserve yourself politically.
Uganda has a population of about 45 million people, with 41% living in poverty, according to the World Bank. EMYOOGA joined the long list of poverty alleviation initiatives introduced by the government in the last 36 years. Entandikwa Bona Bagigahare, the Uganda Women Entrepreneurship Program WEP, National Agricultural Advisory Services NADS, Operation Wealth Creation Youth Livelihood Program, and most recently, the Parish Development Model. In this March and April 2022 in-depth story, lack of monitoring hindering EMYOOGA program in MBARARA as long beneficiaries enjoy millions and millions, I focused on MBARARA city and district, connecting dots in other parts of the country to investigate the state of EMYOOGA circles and members' plight to promote public accountability and service delivery in my region and country. I am AINOMUGISHA, Rise News Uganda, supported by African Center for Media Excellence, ACME, and European Union. Following the launch of EMYOOGA, the government set aside Ugandan shillings 100 billion for the program, with each constituency receiving over 520 million, financed by the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development through the Department of Microfinance, targeting 18 specialized enterprises, including border riders, welders, restaurants, saloon, persons with disabilities, fishermen, produce dealers, mechanics, and others. District task forces were constituted, headed by resident district commissioners (RDCs) or city commissioners (RCCs), comprising of commercial officers, community development officers, local council 5 chairpersons, and district NRM chairpersons. In MBARARA district, Kashali South and North constituencies received Ugandan shillings 1.2 billion on 23rd December 2020 for 36 circles. Where are these circles? Who are the members? How are they operating and performing? Who benefited? The district commercial officer Vincent Nwagaba admitted that many wrong beneficiaries were registered and given money because the government rushed the implementation, though this is now being rectified. Poor systems and structures, lack of monitoring and other challenges are hindering this program.
High default rate among those borrowers who took the money. They are not paying back, and this is a revolving fund. Otherwise, there are other associations and members who are waiting to again receive the money, since it is a revolving fund. The next challenge is the office. When they were planning for this program, we don't have funds for operational funds for supervision and monitoring. You hear that there is a certain scenario in a certain MBARARA, maybe for women or taxi, you don't have fuel, you cannot move, because the office is also incapacitated. We don't have enough facilitation. Even the central government, even up to now, we don't have the budget. They did not allocate any funds from the center. We don't know. We don't have any communication. As trade now, the whole budget is 9 million. A whole year. Can you imagine? And we have 5 officers. The trade office, trade industry, local economic development department in a district. You find our budget is, when you take off the salaries, the operational funds that includes allowances for the field work, office running, stationery, it is only 9 million. That is pocket change for some people. Then another one is the high level of illiteracy. EMYOOGA committees, they are not learned. You find someone is a mechanic, is a P2 dropout. He was made to be a chairperson of the circle. You can imagine. And you know the transactions of the circle. That compounded with the members that are also illiterate, low levels of education, it becomes a challenge in implementation.
With 795 million still in outstanding loans across the district and EMYOOGA circles operating in such a situation, how will this money be recovered? What plans do you have to recover this money?
The plans we have a district EMYOOGA task force whereby it is headed by the resident district commissioner in every district. So previous month we sat and resolved that we first give these people, the borrowers, 3 months break. They were complaining that they were from COVID, affected by COVID. After 3 months, the respective chairpersons of those circles, EMYOOGA circles, will write to them, notifying them to pay within 1 month. Then if one fails to pay within 1 month, the RDC will call them. If they don't respond, that is another month, then we forward them to court using police and court. I think around June, that grace period will have expired. Then we shall resort to legal process, court process. Stringent measures are coming if you don't pay within the stipulated time.
In this investigation, I established that many circles have not held meetings since the members received the money, no clear leadership and structures. It is very hard to trace many of these members, yet the money was released, according to documents witnessed. Some circles have wrong beneficiaries, scenarios where district secretaries and other government staff were registered as journalists, received the money, yet they belong to none of the 18 EMYOOGA categories. Most members who received money have neither saved nor paid interests for the last 1 year. According to some members of the community, it is hard for the real people to benefit from such government programs.
It is given to the groups. So those groups should be monitored and make sure that if you have got the money for a certain project, did you do it? Is it benefiting you? Is it making profits? What's the problem if it's not making profits? But if we just keep quiet, people end up also relaxing. And at the end, the money did not benefit them. We have to sensitize people on mindset to know that this money is given to them to do the project. In fact, they should not give people starting capital, because you are going to start a business or a project of which you don't know or sure of. It should be given those who have already started.
Kanyomunyeto karonda untuna kwasakora nawe group.
As a youth, I looked for people so that we can make a group, and I failed to get them. Even when you look at this money, it is a lot. It would not benefit me because it is a lot and you have to refund it within a short period of time. I cannot use it and then get what to refund quickly. The weakness I see, the government should give the youth or those who are in need of that money enough time so that they can use it. In MBARARA City, 1,090 million was received and allocated to 36 circles in MBARARA North and South, with each circle receiving 30 million except local government leaders circle that received 50 million as guided by the Microfinance Support Center nationwide, and MBARARA City North Mechanic Circle that hasn't received money due to documentation and other issues. In MBARARA City, over 700 million is also in outstanding loans, with many members struggling to pay back. Some groups had all requirements but didn't receive even a single coin, which has generated outcry. We were not notified whether the money came or not. We don't know where that money went. We hear the president released the money to the ministry, but when it came down, the money disappeared. Kamukuzi CDO was the leader. He was working with that councillor and some other people, so they should be interrogated about that. Mrs. EMYOOGA was very, very active in that, and her group was among those that got for us we escorted those who ate. We wish that money could come directly to the LC or mayor. The people hindering this EMYOOGA, they are the technocrats, because President Museveni releases money, but when it reaches down, these people plan and they steal the money. When the money came from the president to the ministry, we had it even on radios, but when it reached down, the money was nowhere to be seen. In my investigations, I confirmed that it is very hard to trace these SACCO members and signatories. Few are operating. Some SACCOs paid rent for over 4 months, bought office furniture and equipment, expecting another batch of money, all in vain. Most members quickly got loans, haven't paid interests, or saved for close to a year now. During this investigation, the tax operator's SACCO chairperson was summoned to police for interrogation over corruption and other anomalies in this SACCO. Very few SACCOs are performing better, like MBARARA City North Produce Dealers EMYOOGA SACCO, with over 3,000 members who have saved 220 million in 1 year and were hailed by State Minister for Microfinance Haruna Kasoro for this outstanding performance across Ankole sub-region. The SACCO chairperson, Mr. Abdulwahab Watweta, says most people lack sensitization. Government programs are being hindered by corruption and accountability gaps.
It is only the accountability gap that when it is bridged up, these SACCOs can stand. But if that gap is still there, or it is still expanding, the SACCOs will fall. Not all SACCOs, but the majority. Let the government also monitor the SACCO leadership, all stakeholders. The money came directly from Ministry of Finance to the accounts of an individual SACCO. After reaching on the account of the SACCO, 30 millions, some gaps between the authorities you had, like in Shema, where the commercial officers used to say that any SACCO should bring 2M. I saw those ones when the minister was monitoring. Other districts, you will hear that when the SACCO leadership, the signatories, were given a recommendation to withdraw for the operations, now they could say, no, you first give me this amount or that amount. This one will affect the parish development model. And not only the model, every government program that will be coming, they will be affected by this. You see, what is taking place now on a EMYOOGA program, it started with the Tandukwa. It is not starting today. No, it started years back, like Women Fund, Youth Fund, Tandukwa, Wanabagagaware, NADS, now Operation Wealth Creation. But most of them, when they come, people think, the government has given us appreciation token. Some technocrats, they hijack it along the way. When people are used of that government programs, there is no follow-up. As long as you can create logic along the way. I feel that this is the time when the government should be strongly punishing such people who are involved in such corruption scandals.
Having looked at this picture, to have more public accountability questions answered and the iceberg fully unpacked, I engaged the resident city commissioner RCC MBARARA, Lieutenant Kanu James Mwesji, the head of the EMYOOGA task force in the city. For example, if a commercial officer solicited 1 or 2 million from each of the 36 SACCOs, that is 36 or 72 million swindled in a single case, how will this money be recovered in circumstances where many beneficiaries connived with those supposed to spearhead the enforcement?
Some group members are paying back, but there are some groups which have also done bad. Some leaders even run with the money, and some members have failed to pay back. For example, there is this group of the taxi drivers and operators and what. I think they have done the worst. People got money and people have refused to pay money, and recently they sent the chairman to police.
Where do you think we can improve? Because some technocrats are saying the government rushed to implement.
Government never rushed. If you are to begin, you have to begin. These groups were trained, money was given to them. You see,
Some people fear to make mistakes. You make mistakes as you are moving, and then you correct those mistakes as you move on. They get to know how to use the money. It encourages them to save. Then where things are going wrong, you go correcting. Parish development model is going to work well. We have picked a lesson from yoga, we have picked lessons from the youth fund, from the women fund, and more so, it is owned by the people themselves. You know, this like EMYOOGA, all the funds have been going through civil servants. At times people fail to pay because they were given 10 million, but these other corrupt officials took one, and they have to recover that one.
What actions have you taken so far? What are those plans on the table now so that we can recover this money?
We have been talking to them. We have been talking to them. Those who become very complicated, right, we use the police, because this is public money. Public money is not your money. It is public money. Even if it was not government money, when we save our money together, it ceases to be your money. It will be arrested.
In some areas, our investigators have found groups that are written on paper. The money was allocated, but the groups are not on the ground. How are you going to approach that?
To get those people who signed for that money and we arrest them. My warning is that really these projects came to fight poverty. Our people should wake up, use this money that is given by government very well, so that we can chase away poverty from our homes.
As such programs continue, based on what we've experienced in the past, decision makers have to consider the paramount factors and forces for these programs to be successful and effective. Why do they yield less results than projected? At what stage are the target beneficiaries involved? Who loses and who gains? To what extent do we value, promote and ensure public accountability and smooth information flow? What's the magnitude of the danger ahead if systems and structures stay like this in our country, Uganda? I am AINOMUGISHA, Rise News Uganda, supported by African Center for Media Excellence, ACME, and European Union.